All right, welcome everybody. My name is Lauren Bentley and I'm here to guide you through a class for depression. And we're going to actually be meeting depression with a Vinyasa based class, which I know some of you may feel like that doesn't make very much sense. When we are feeling depressed, we more so want to move slower. Perhaps we feel restorative, or a yin class would be more beneficial. But actually, when we are in a depressive state, we actually have a lot of the water element within us. And so we don't want to add more water to it. A couple weeks ago, maybe it was last week, 2 weeks ago, I did a anxiety class, a yoga for anxiety, and that was actually a restorative class, because when we're feeling a lot of anxiety, we actually have a higher element of fire within us. So we need to bring the water. When we are feeling depressed, we have a lot of water within us, and we actually need to bring in the fire. The fire is the Vinyasa practice. So, and I will state that I have found this to be very true. It goes much further than what I've read in a textbook. Even example for this morning. So I have personally been feeling some emotions of depression. We are, in the middle of February. I live in Ohio, in Cleveland, Ohio. It's very cloudy. We have the most cloud coverage than any other place in the whole country. And so seasonal depression can very much be a thing that takes hold of me this time of year. Even if I get outside and everything, I can still feel that depressive state. And because of that, I haven't really been wanting to exercise much. I try to get out and hike every day, and I try to enjoy a yoga flow every day. However, really bringing in that fire of my workouts, of a HIIT circuit, kettlebells, weightlifting, all that good stuff, it's very difficult for me to get there. And then this morning I had to literally make myself show up for a kettlebell circuit. And that just brought a lot of fire into my body. And for the first time in a long time, I felt a desire to dance and to just let my body tell the story and be the embodiment of the emotions that were within me. So one thing will lead to another. Once you really force yourself to show up, to move, to bring that fire, you'll notice that it actually left you feeling way better. Showing up, arriving, getting there in the first place can be rather difficult. That's the hardest part. So I want you to take a moment to honor yourself, praise yourself for showing up on your mat. You are here. You turned the video on. You have arrived. That is the hardest part. You can do this, all right? And it's going to help you feel some relief. And like I said, bring that fire to the water. Heat that water up. Let's get it to boil, all right? And then we'll let it simmer a bit. So what we're going to do today with this Vinyasa practice is we're actually going to move through a lot of sun salutations because that's where we're gonna get the most out of the Vinyasa practice. So it's going to bring a lot of heat. I hope that you have a water handy, and if it's cold where you are as well, I hope that you have some layers on, because we are gonna get pretty warmed up. We're going to begin with just a little bit of a meditation, just to invite that fire to begin to come into the different parts of the body, especially where we're feeling perhaps a lot of that water, a lot of the heaviness, a lot of that depressive, those depressive, tired, heavy feelings. So we're going to invite some of that fire to come in with a little meditation, and then we're going to begin to move through different types of sun salutations. We're going to start with kneeling suns, half suns, then we're going to find low lunge sun salutations, sun A's, and sun B's. So as always, please listen to your body, follow your breath, and move at your pace. If you're not moving as fast as me, or if you're moving faster than me, as long as you're focusing on full deep breaths, that's going to be the most important part. And as always, if you need to take a rest, please feel free to come into any posture that feels good to you. Child's form is wonderful, laying on your belly, laying on your back, and just taking your time and allowing your body to express what's going on within you. And if that means you are craving a different posture, you want to stay in a posture longer, please do so. All right, so let's begin in your most comfortable seated position. And we're going to sit up as tall as we can. Roll those shoulders up and back away from the ears. Tuck the chin in slightly so that the spine is long all the way up through the cervical spine, your neck. And we can place the hands on the lap, either face down or face up. Maybe you want to place them on the ground beneath you. And now you can close the eyes, or you can just soften the gaze down, perhaps to just a focal point in front of you. And I want you to first begin to notice the sensation of your mat beneath you. How does it feel under your bum, under your feet, maybe even under your hands if your hands are on the mat? Just noticing the texture, the temperature, the firmness. And then notice if you can begin to feel into the spaces around you, the air around you. If it feels good, maybe even noticing the energy around you. What do you hear? Are these sounds close by, or are they far away? What can you smell? What can you taste? And what do you see, either behind closed eyes or whatever the focal point is in front of you? What can you see? Just noticing everything that's within you and all around you. Even if you may be feeling heavy and fatigued, your body craving that deep rest, you are alive. You are a soul in this human experience. You are here. Begin to notice now any of those parts in your body that feels the heaviness, fatigued. Perhaps the part of you that keeps screaming, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be on this mat. Feel into those parts, those very watery parts. Just imagine the element of fire coming in and warming those parts of your body. It doesn't need to make any sense. You don't need to understand it with the logical thinking mind. This is a practice of the body, the emotional body. The language of emotions. Just invite that fire to come in. And imagine it growing bigger within your whole body. warming you completely from the inside out. And very gently now, begin to find some neck circles. You can find full circles or just half circles. And as you begin to move your neck, ensure that that fire element is in the neck, going up into the face, meeting the jawbone, the eyes. Invite it into every part of this moving neck, creating space. Warming that water element. And then switch your direction of those neck circles. Try to bring all of your awareness into your neck. Try not to allow the mind to wander off of this moment. Just try to be here, loving, nourishing, nurturing every part of you. And then we'll take the chin to the chest. Keep your shoulders rolled back. Take a few breaths here. And then inhale, lift the chin back up so it's parallel to the floor. And we'll find some shoulder circles, just rolling forward and up, down and back. And again, inviting this fire element to meet the shoulders. Maybe you can notice the heaviness, the emotions that are within the shoulder space. What's the story here? Maybe what have you been holding on to? What have you been carrying? And see if you can just let it go. Very nice. And then plant that right hand down beside your right hip. Lift that left arm up and then take it over. Coming into a nice little side bend. Roll your shoulders away from those ears and see if you can lift the heart up towards the ceiling. And maybe finding a little movement that feels good to you. Inviting that fire element into the left side body. And again, allowing yourself to express the emotions of that water element with your body. Inhale, bring yourself back up. Plant that left hand down, right arm up and over. Remove those shoulders, open up. Breathing into the right side body. Inviting that fire element to come in. And then inhale both those arms up. Take a moment to look up with those hands. And then we'll release those hands down. Take a moment to come to an all fours position. Bringing those hips over the knees. The wrists under the shoulders. Pull your low belly in and up. And then take your fingers into the body, facing in towards the body. So this may be a little intense or very intense. If so, I really encourage you to do more of these. If it's not as intense, you can explore a little bit by rocking yourself front and back. Very small movements. Warming up the wrists, inviting that fire element to meet the wrists and those hands. Very good. Then take those hands back out and go ahead and sit back onto your heels and curl all your toes under. You may need to reach down and actually make sure that all your toes are curled under. Take a moment here just to allow a stretch into the bottom of the feet, inviting the fire element to also arrive there. And again, if this stretch seems to be pretty intense for you, that's normal, especially if you're somebody who wears heels a lot. And if that's the case, please try to do this every day. I think it's one of the most important stretches we can do to really care for our feet, care for those wrists, care for these parts of us that do so much for us that we often just take for granted or easily forget about. And then walk yourself back out to tabletop, untuck those toes, tap the tops of the feet out, and then bring the big toes together. Let the knees part as wide as feels good, just no wider than the edges of your mat. Take your hips back and then walk your arms out long, and then bring your heart and your forehead down to the mat. So this is child's posture, and you're welcome to return here whenever you need. If you need a rest, come here, or come to your belly, or come to your back, because I know this posture isn't always great for everybody. We'll just be here just for a couple more breaths. Find that long spine, grow long through the side bodies, into the armpit, chest. Breathe here. And then inhale, roll yourself back up, stacking the knees back under the hips, and bring your butt to the heels, but this time our feet are flat to the mat. So we're just going to find a couple very simple kneeling sun salutes. So we're going to find the hands down at the sides, roll those shoulders back, begin to pull that low belly in and up, and pull in those floating ribs so you can feel nice and supported here. You should be able to feel the support through the low back and through the spine. And as you inhale, we're going to come up to the knees, lift those arms up, maybe look up at the fingers if it's okay on the neck. Keep your shoulders rolled back away from the ears, and keep everything pulled into the midline. You may have the desire to really stick your butt back. See if you can pull it in. As you can feel, it's going to put a lot of strain on your low back. So keep that tailbone tucked in. Keep your pelvis pulled in. And then exhale, sit it back to the heels, lower the arms. Inhale to lift and look up. Exhale to release. 3 more here. Follow your breath. Full inhale all the way up. And full exhale takes you all the way back down. Last one here, inhale. Exhale. Perfect. Walk your hands out, and then take those hands out just about 2 inches in front of your shoulders. Really claw into all your fingerprints, pressing firmly down into those hands, pressing into the webbing between the thumb and the pointer. Curl your toes under. We'll take our hips up and back for a downward facing dog. We'll take a moment here just to pedal out the feet, inviting one heel towards the mat as we bend deeply into the opposite leg, and switch sides. Shoulders have an outward rotation, as if you were opening up a jar. And then those inner thighs have an inward rotation. Our elbow creases are pointing towards the top of the mat. And we're looking straight back towards the knees or the toes. And then we'll just invite both heels down towards the mat. It doesn't matter if they reach or not. And then we'll even bend those knees generously and allow your belly to come to the tops of the thighs. Feel your spine get nice and long. And then from here, see if you can begin to straighten the legs. Very nice. Then we'll inhale, look forward at the hands, bend those knees generously. On your exhale, begin to walk yourself up to the top of the mat. We'll meet in a forward fold. letting the knees bend generously. Head, neck, and shoulders round forward. See if you can bring the palms to be flat to the mat. Shake the head out, no. And yes. And then pressing through all four corners of the feet. Knees are bent generously as you come all the way up to that tall mountain. Lift your arms up high. On that exhale, pull your hands down to the heart. So we'll take a moment just to set up the foundation of our standing posture. Our feet are about hip width distance. So to find that, we can find our hip bones here. Go ahead and place a fist right on those hip bones, and then look down at your feet. And you want your feet to now be just underneath those fists. So this is just right around the place where the femur is. So this is hip distance. Feel yourself really press into all four corners of the feet. Maybe even take a moment to rock forward and back, and then side to side. And then as you come back through the center, you may find that you're able to experience a more centered state of gravity here. Imagine pulling energy up through the front body so the kneecaps lift, the shoulders roll back, the chest is forward, chin parallel to the ground. And imagine there's a string at the top of your head pulling you up nice and high. And then let those shoulders round, down and back. Tuck that tailbone in slightly. So we're really pulling the energy up through the front body and grounding through the back body. And then take your arms out to the sides, palms face forward, spread your fingers wide. Inhale, lift those arms up, maybe look up at the hands. Exhale, hinge at those hips and melt forward. We're going to find 5 rounds of half sun A's. Inhale, take your hands up the legs for a flat back. Your hands can either be on the thighs, the shins, or the mat. Wherever you're at, just be sure that you're squeezing those shoulder blades together as if you were trying to hold a pencil in between your shoulder blades. Low belly pulled in and up, floating ribs, hug in. Exhale and fold. Each round will move a little bit quicker. Inhale all the way up, tall mountain. Exhale, pull your hands down to the heart, and then into mountain pose, Tadasana. 4 more here. Inhale to lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale to rise, tall mountain. Exhale, hands through to heart center and into Tadasana. Final 3, follow your breath. Let your breath be the rhythm that sets the pace for your movements. Remain embodied as much as you can. Feel how your feet feel against the mat. Warming up the body, inviting the fire. Final round. We'll meet back in that mountain pose, Tadasana. As we add on now for sun salutation A's. Inhale, lift those arms up. Again, first round we'll move slow. After that, we'll move with our breath. Exhale and fold all the way down. Inhale for that flat back. Exhale to fold. This time, plant those palms, spread the fingers wide, wrists under those shoulders, step your feet back to a plank position. We always have the option here to drop the knees as needed. You can modify anytime you need. Low belly, floating ribs, hug in, tailbone down, doming through the upper back body. Come forward on your toes or drop the knees. Regardless, elbows are going to stay hugged in tight to the side body as we lower halfway to chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog or cobra. Only difference is our legs are down or not. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward at your hands, bend the knees. Exhale takes you back up to the top of the mat and we fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale to rise, tall mountain. Exhale, hands through to heart center and mountain pose. That was 1. 4 more just like that. Inhale to lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Plant the palms, step it back to your plank. Find that vinyasa. So lower halfway or all the way to the belly. Cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward at your hands, bend the knees. Exhale, take it to the top of the mat and fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale to lift, tall mountain. Exhale, pull your hands to the heart and Tadasana. 3 more. Let's follow our own breath now. You can always look at the screen if you need a reminder of what to do. Follow your breath, moving meditation, invite the fire into your body. Stay present with your breath, with your body, with these movements. Final round, resting at any point as you need. And we'll all meet in that tall mountain pose. Take a few breaths here, just noticing how you feel, inviting that fire throughout your whole body. Feel your feet really anchored to the mat. Feel your body tall and strong, capable, alive. Our final sun sequence, we're going to come into sun bees. Again, 5 rounds here. And of course, the first round will move nice and slow together and then begin to speed it up and then on your own. So we'll begin here. Inhale, lift those arms up overhead. Roll your shoulders back. Exhale, sit back, chair pose. Weight goes into the heels, sitting back as if you were in a tiny little chair. Low ribs, and low belly pulling in and up, shoulders roll back. If this pinches your shoulders, please take your hands to the heart. Big breath in here. Exhale and fold over those legs. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant those palms, step it back to your plank. Again, option to lower those knees if you need. If not, come forward on those toes. Big breath in. Exhale, lower halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Invite that left heel down towards the mat and inhale, lift your right foot up high. Exhale, look in between your hands and step your right foot in between those hands. It's okay if you need to adjust it yourself or heel toe it up, not a worry. Take that left foot now and pivot it 45 degrees. So you want your left toes to be pointed up towards the left corner of your mat. Take your legs in 2 lanes of traffic. Nice bend in your front knee. Pull your right hip back to meet the left. And inhale, come all the way up to a warrior 1. So take a moment and place your hands on your hips. That left hip's gonna wanna come back and that right hip's gonna really wanna pop forward. But let's keep that right hip pulling back. Left hip forward, hips squared off to the front of the mat as much as you can. Pressing evenly between both feet. When you feel ready, lift those arms. Pinkies forward, thumbs back, shoulders down. Inhale it here. Exhale. Frame that front foot, step it back to a plank. Vinyasa, you can always skip and just go right to downward facing dog. There's a bit more vinyasas in Sun Bees. Now as you arrive back in your downward facing dog, plant that right heel down, inhale, left foot up. Exhale, step that left foot in between your hands. Set up your foundation, left knee behind those left toes. Pivot on your back foot, right toes towards the right corner of your mat. Inhale, coming up, hands to your hips first. Find your hips squared off to the front of the mat. And then inhale, lift your arms up. Inhale it here. Exhale it down. Plant those palms. Step it back to your plank. Vinyasa here. And we'll meet in our downward facing dog. From here, we look forward at the hands, bend the knees. Exhale it up to the top of the mat and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hips back, arms up, chair pose. Round of breath here. And then inhale, we stand. Exhale, hands to the heart. That was 1 round. We have 4 more to go. We'll speed it up together. Inhale to lift those arms. Exhale, sit it back, chair pose. Big breath in. Exhale and fold over those legs. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Plant those palms, step it back to your plank. Find that vinyasa or head right to the downward facing dog. We'll all meet there. Anchor your left heel down. Inhale, right heel up. Exhale, right foot in between those hands. Pivot on that back foot. Inhale, warrior 1. Exhale, release those hands. Step it back to your plank. Inhale it here. Exhale it down. Inhale for your back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Plant that right heel down. Inhale, left foot up. Exhale, step it in between your hands. 45 degrees on that right foot. Inhale, warrior 1. Exhale, take it down. Step it back to your plank. Inhale it here. Exhale, vinyasa. We'll meet in downward dog. Inhale, look forward at your hands, bend those knees. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale it out. Inhale, come to stand. Final 3 rounds. I told you we're going to bring the heat. I will instruct us through this final round. Last 2 on your own. Inhale to lift. Exhale, sit it back, chair pose. Inhale, exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plant those palms. Find your plank. Find your vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Left heel plants. Inhale, right foot up. Exhale, right foot in between those hands. Find your warrior one. Inhale it up. Exhale, we release. Step it back to the plank. Vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Right heel plants. Inhale, left foot up. Exhale, step it in between the hands. Pivot on your right foot. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, hands down. Step it back to your plank. Vinyasa. Downward facing dog. You're doing great. Inhale, look forward at your hands, bend those knees. Exhale, take it up. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale it out. Inhale to stand. Hands to your heart. Final 2 rounds. Follow your breath. Invite that fire into the whole body. Look at the screen if you need, if you forget what is next. Enjoy this moving meditation. Really follow that breath, deepen the breath. Allow it to be the rhythm that sets the pace for your flow, for your practice. Feeling alive, feeling whole, nurtured, and supported. Let's flow. Last one, or last 2. Don't forget, you can always rest, modify, skip as needed. Final round. You can do it. And we'll all meet in that tall mountain, Tadasana pose. Feel that fire coursing through your body. Heart rate elevated. Body is heated all throughout. Notice your breath. Every cell awakened with our breath and our movement. And again, I invite you to just feel proud of yourself for showing up. It's always the hardest part. especially when we are feeling heavy and depressed. Showing up is the hardest part, but once we are finished, we realize why we showed up. And we can just wrap those arms around our body, just giving yourself a hug. Just knowing that anytime you are feeling that heaviness, that you can just come back to invite the fire into your practice, to enjoy some sun salutations, even if it's just 5 rounds. Or grab your weights, go for a run, whatever it may be. Inviting the fire into the body. Just notice how it moves you, how it supports you, how it elevates you. And we'll bring our hands to heart center. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.